Mumbai's roads are made of gold. BMC is sitting on so much money, they don't know what to do with it. It's not that they don't know how to make a road, but they know how to make money better.
Which one's the worst pocket according to you?
I think Bandra is the worst managed.
And that the SRA in Mumbai is a scam. Why?
Everything in Mumbai is a scam, but SRA is high up there. We had a meeting with Mr. Fadnavis when he was the CM. He picked up the phone, he called up the MD of the Metro 3 line and said, these people are sitting with me, please meet them.
This is Ashwini Bide.
Mrs. Bide, her first thing was, how did you meet the CM? And oh, you want to save a tree? 1, 2 trees we'll save, don't worry.
When you were opposing the Metro Carshed, you were wrong in some places.
SRA is going on since how many years now? 30 years maybe. But have the slums reduced or have they increased? Why have they increased? Because somebody finds it lucrative. Just ask the government, link Aadhaar to SRA. Nobody will do it. But slum dwellers are the one who run our houses.
But should that entitle them to a free home?
No. 25-30% population of Mumbai travel by BST buses. And nobody does anything for the BST bus. The system benefits out of that slum in the name of benefiting the slum dweller. The slum dweller, what does he get out of it?
A free home.
You go to an SRA rehab, it is not being used by those slum dwellers. Our government in Mumbai, Maharashtra is run by builders. In the draft development plan, the government has said we want to make entire Aarey into the next BKC. We live in a city which was Bombay, now Mumbai. I think it's time to change our city to Scambay.
Why is Mumbai such a mess? In today's episode of The Real Deal, we'll be talking to one of Mumbai's most high-profile activists who raises issues from the environment, to construction, to roads, as well as slums. Zoru Bhathena. Let's hear him out. So thank you, Zoru, for coming on The Real Deal. You're actually the first person who's from a non-developer background to come on the podcast. But I think for even understanding real estate or understanding what moves real estate, it's important to know that what moves a city and where things go right and where things go wrong. As someone who is perpetually in the news for pointing out what is wrong with Mumbai, what do you think really has made Mumbai into this mess that we see today?
Ill intentions. Is anything in Mumbai really being done for the benefit of Mumbai? I don't see it. It's being done for different reasons. If you have to balance out how the city should function or should be administered, let me give a simple example of a road. Potholes, bad roads is plagued our city for years. If you ask BMC to fix it, how difficult is it to fix a bad road? It's an overnight job. They have machine expertise, everything is available, they just have to scoop out the pothole, fix it and relayer it. There's no rocket science in fixing a road. But they will say, oh, road is bad, so let's make a new road. And that is, in my view, a dishonest way on how to solve the problem. With no benefit to the city. To fix a road takes time, effort and very little money. To make a new road takes a lot of time, lot of money, and therefore everybody's thought process is padded well to get the road done. So this is how our city functions.
So basically the city does not exist. The city governance does not really keep citizens at its top priority.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Within the things that ail Mumbai, okay, we'll take it subject by subject, broad themes. Right now we are at this peak pollution that's going across India. Mumbai is better than Delhi at this point of time. Why have we seen this big slide in pollution in Mumbai according to you at this point?
It's not that Mumbai has not been polluted over the years. We've had good days, bad days, but we've not had consistent, terrible bad days like we are facing today. Maybe 30, 40 years ago, we didn't have phones which showed us the AQI, so everybody knew how bad the air quality was, but I'm sure it was bad in the past as well. But it's become worse. I view it two ways, two reasons for this. One is the pollution creators, the things that create pollution are increasing at a rapid pace. And the pollution removers or cleansers are being removed at a rapid pace. So let's take the simplest thing that removes pollution, day-to-day pollution, are trees. Let us take a road. A roadside tree is the best anti-pollution measure that you can get. It helps reduce the dust or helps retain the dust and not allow it to disperse. It's the best noise suppressant because the trees prevent noise from spreading. Let's take a rainy day, it's the best drain available. In any way you look at it, a roadside tree is the most useful thing for keeping a city clean throughout the year. But in Mumbai, every single road, the first thing that whenever they do some road work, they widen it, first thing they will remove all the trees. They will not put it back. Remaking a road, like particularly making a cement road, creates mega amounts of dust. In my opinion, Mumbai's pollution is because of road work, because it's just everywhere throughout the city, creating a mess. People focus on what builders do of one construction, but that construction will pollute that environment around that building. The full city of Mumbai will not get polluted because of that. But road work is happening like in crazy extent throughout the city. And there is no pollution suppressant being added. We've created a situation which has gone beyond a controllable limit.
Because one of the things I often hear, at least builders like you mentioned, that they have become sort of the punching bag for pollution in Mumbai, and they privately, of course, they keep telling me that if you look at the numbers, the cause of pollution, very little is because of us. Most of it is because of the infrastructure projects, the road work that the government is undertaking. But then in this environment where you're operating in a business which is so dependent on government, if you're even made the scapegoat, you have to accept it. Okay, so pollution, the broad inference, the causes of pollution are rising while the cure for pollution, that is declining because of elements like the trees. Okay, away from pollution, your, I think, biggest claim to fame, if I can call it that, is when you were opposing the Metro Carshed. I deliberately paused with Metro and Carshed because it became, in a way, people who oppose the Carshed are opposing Metro. Do you think right now, with the benefit of hindsight, you were wrong in some places?
See, our issue from day one was that you don't need to construct a depot. What is a depot? Everybody in Mumbai knows BST depots. They are plots of land where buses go to park at night, where they are repaired, painted, maintained. That's a depot. Same for the metro. So depot can be located anywhere. For a metro, you need 2 tracks to take the train there and take it back. But it can be located anywhere. I mean, I'm just making it very simplistically saying anywhere. And why do you need to make a depot in a pristine natural environment? If we use the word forest, somebody will say, no, it's not a forest. Somebody else will say, it's not an eco-sensitive zone. It's not a floodplain. Place where it was located was a natural area, which in Mumbai you will not find. So yes, because we have been pointing out from day one that this is not a correct thing to be done. People who don't agree say that you are opposing the metro. But it has nothing to do with the metro. It's like, for example, I say certain type of food is unhealthy to eat. Doesn't mean I'm saying don't eat food. These are two different things. So in the same way, you also asked that in hindsight, could things be done in a different way or...
But then just before you come to that part, you said the part about the depot, its utility. What would you say to people who would say that were there good enough, convenient alternatives to get it done? And as the metro is a project that would have, in a way, changed the way a lot of private transport gets replaced, anyway curbing the environmental damage that you had in mind. Would you say that's a fair counter argument, that just let it run? The amount of people who will board the metro that will more than offset any environmental hazard that comes through.
No. First of all, that is an incorrect statement. No metro is going to offset any environmental things. A metro is a convenient mode of transportation, a much needed mode of transportation. I myself go to office in the metro. I have no issues. We go all over the world, we use the metro. A metro that will remove traffic, it will clean the air, it will make the trains less crowded. This is a lie. This will not happen.
Why? Why do you say that?
Let us take Delhi. Delhi has 300 kilometers grid of metro. Is there any reduction in traffic? No. Is there any improvement in the air quality? No. Is metro a convenient way for Delhi to travel? Yes. And so in any city in the world, you go to London, you go to New York, you go to Paris, you go to any city in the world, you will still have traffic. Maybe those cities not pollution, but okay. So metro is a mode of people to travel. Also the story that traffic, I've already explained that metro cannot remove traffic from the road. Okay, you may think that, okay, supposing 1 lakh people leave their car and now start using the metro. Another 1 lakh people will say, oh, the road is empty, let me take my car. And they will fill up the road. So traffic cannot get solved because of a metro. May I just explain the depot thing? Or yeah, okay. Let us take this metro line 3, which is from Cuff Parade to Seeps. Let me give a little bit of history to this project. This metro line was conceived in the 1980s when Mumbai city and Nariman Point was the business hub and BKC was just starting up. BKC was formed in 1970s. This metro line was thought up that let's give a mode of transportation from the existing business hub to the new business hub. It has been implemented 30 years later when Nariman Point is lying empty. I would say it's like a ghost business district. It's not a vibrant business district as BKC is, my view. Some people may disagree. Planning and execution is one issue. But let's come back to the depot. Even today, there is a depot land which is kept for this project since the 1980s at Cuff Parade. It's still lying there. There is a depot plot lying there. But this Metro 3 project is not a project actually for moving people. It's a real estate project. Governments, I don't think anybody will disagree. Our government in Mumbai, Maharashtra is run by builders. Builders have the strongest say in everything. Just look around the city, everything is construction. And the Metro 3 line is one part of this real estate development. The builders found that the land at that time in Cuff Parade was valuable. Why should we waste valuable land for a depot? So let's move it to the other end of the line, which was Aarey. But that depot land at Cuff Parade is available even today. Some parts of it have been slum infested. So there is an SRA project will come up. Now, we had asked this question long time ago that, okay, even if an SRA project comes up, what is the problem? You can have your depot on the ground floor and you can have a 40-50 story building on the top. There is nothing stopping it. A metro depot doesn't have to be open to sky. Anybody can go to Andheri, Ghatkopar, Warsaw depot of the Metro 1 line. You will see towers in the depot. Even the Metro Line 1 is a real estate project. That plot was developed for real estate. The depot is small and the real estate is so much. So this is how it is. This is the fact of life. Fact of Mumbai, let's put it. So they decided to move it to the other end because it was the most worthless piece of land for the government. They might have that time not realized that it's a forest, it's eco-sensitive, it's part of SGNP. People don't look at it from those eyes. They're like some useless, worthless piece of land, let's develop it. And the idea was always to develop it, real estate. In writing, the plan from day one says that the metro line is going to cost 23,000 crores to make, the starting budget. We are going to get the Japanese JICA have agreed to give us 13,000 crores loan. And we, the government, have to put in 10,000 crores. But we, the government, don't have any money from day one. So let us develop the land at Aarey with real estate and make 10,000 crores from it to fund this project. So this is the base plan of this project. How to encash the real estate of Aarey. The depot is a small little part of Aarey. 33 hectares, I think, is given for the depot. on which they wanted to make 10,000 crores easily possible. Today, that time plan was 10,000 crores, now it would become 40,000 crores with valuations or FSI changes over the years. But another more troubling thing was that in 2016, there was Mumbai has a development plan. So 1960 development plan, 1980, 91, and then there's a 2034 development plan. In the draft development plan, the government has said we want to make entire Aarey into the next BKC. They have a valid view because Aarey is in an excellent location. It is having eastern suburb connectivities, having western suburb connectivities, and it's not so far away from the airport. It's not so far away from BKC. It's not so far away from the city. It is actually in the heart of today's Mumbai. So I can understand why they wanted to do it, but it is there in black and white that entire Aarey is to become the new BKC of Mumbai. Thankfully, because of opposition from people, that plan was scrapped. I have actually come into this fight a little later, but the people who have been fighting this before, and the government, both, commend them that they were able to change this. And today, Aarey, besides the depot plot, is the most protected plot of land in Mumbai after the Sanjay Gandhi National Park. It has the highest levels of protection on paper. But government doesn't run anything on paper. That's a different story, but that's a totally different issue. In Mumbai, we already have a Metro 2 and Metro 7 running. Metro 7 is on the Western Express Highway. It was supposed to be an independent line with a depot at Dahisar. And Metro 2 was to be an independent line with a depot at Charkop. Temporary or a smaller depot at Charkop, eventual at Mankot. The land at Dahisar was the airport authority land where the airport has some towers for that communication. So the government said, we will remove your towers from here and put it in Gorai and open up this land. Not because they wanted a depot, but because of that towers, the surrounding areas could not be developed into building. Real estate was not possible in the vicinity of that Dahisar Airport Authority station. So in the name of depot, name of metro, they said we will take over this plot and move the stations to Gorai where we can't do anything else because Gorai is natural area. So let's move the towers there. And today the metro line is running without that depot. But still the plan is still that, for metro, let's move the airport authority stations there. So that I think the BMC commissioner 1 or 2 years ago has officially said, if this plot of land gets freed up, we as BMC will make 50,000 crores from premiums from the buildings, surrounding buildings, which will be allowed for development. So metro is needed for the city, but in the name of metro, many other things are being done in the name of metro. And depot is one of the biggest things that is happening.
But would you say at this time now, with the benefit of hindsight, that there is something that you could have done differently? Because I think at the end of it all, just when I look at how the interaction happened between both sides, it became more, I think, an ego war where both sides were refusing to listen to each other.
Absolutely. It became like a battle and neither side willing to listen to the other side, which doesn't help. Sometimes we have to see things differently from other people's point of view.
What do you think in terms of your engagement? And you have engaged with, I think, based on your Twitter feed, right from Mr. Fadnavis to Aditya Thackeray to now the ruling establishment. What's been your puzzle? Do they understand parts of this puzzle that are there? Do they care about the environment? Do they not care about the environment?
Different politicians think and work differently. I've had the pleasure of dealing with a lot of different politicians along the way. Each one has a different motive and a different style of working. I think it all boils down to intention. Let me give an example. We had a meeting with Mr. Fadnavis when he was the CM. We were all delighted that he agreed to meet us. Privileged to have met the CM. It's not a this thing. He said, I agree. we should not cut so many trees. Since you all are listing it, why don't you all work along with us to do the least damage? We said fair enough. We are not saying don't make a metro line, don't cut a tree. No. He picked up the phone. He called up the MD of the Metro 3 line and said, these people are sitting with me. Please meet them. When will you meet them? She said, tomorrow. Next day we went. That was it. That was our meeting.
This was Ashwini Bhide.
Meeting with Mr. Fadnavis was, he called up Mrs. Bhide and said, meet her tomorrow. So the meeting was fixed by him. And he said, you have my assurance, we will, whatever we can save, we will save. And since you all are focused on saving trees, you all will help us. We are focused on building the metro, so we don't have a focus on saving trees. Not his words, I am explaining it. When we met Mrs. Bhide, her first thing was, how did you meet the CM? And oh, you want to save a tree? 1-2 trees we'll save, don't worry. But this is not the way to discuss an issue like this. And nothing came out of that second meeting. So when we tried to get back to Mr. Fadnavis about it, he was like, I met you now, boss, I have nothing else to do. And that is not correct. The result was that he just met us for the sake of, I have to meet. At that time, BMC elections were going on. So maybe it was a little hot topic. So, okay, elections are going on, so chala, I have to make a show. Truth always has a way to come out. You can hide anything today, but you can't hide it forever. And eventually we found out each and everything which has been done is done on his instructions. Let us take the depot. I had explained to you that Aarey depot was from day one to be used for real estate for funding this project. Because we citizens made a lot of noise, Mr. Fadnavis publicly came out and said, we will scrap the real estate project. We will not have real estate in Aarey. And they officially notified it also that no real estate development. And they said this will be only metro depot. And then he went back, he used to have a war room. In his war room, he has passed an order, which is an official order of the government, that depot means real estate, the nomenclature depot means real estate development. But we will not reveal it to public today. It is written in his war room meeting. So, means what?
You've spoken many long back, not about Dharavi, but about slum redevelopment. And that the SRA in Mumbai is a scam. Why?
Everything in Mumbai is a scam, but SRA is high up there. Okay, let's take what is an SRA. Somebody has encroached upon public land. He is sitting there with the protection of people in authority. Because without the protection of the police and the BMC and the politician, you cannot encroach any land. If I go and put up one hut on the middle of the road tomorrow, immediately they will remove me. Let's take, supposing this plot of land is encroached. SRA is uniquely designed. So let's assume there are 1,000 huts in this plot of land. They have a scheme, SRA has a scheme of patra, apatra, that is eligible, ineligible. First, they will make all 1,000 people come together and we will develop this. You form a society and you make a majority and go to an SRA. So the 1,000 people, they will come together and say, we will develop this land. At that time, nobody checks who is patra and apatra. Then the scheme gets sanctioned. A SRA scheme, how I have seen, goes through, I believe, 20 different developers till the final guy, some big shot, develops it finally. But the process before that goes through small fry developers. One will get all of them together to sanction it, then he'll sell the project to the next guy. Each one has his expertise, and once it is fully cleared, then it goes to a big name developer. And once the SRA scheme is sanctioned, then they come to check who is eligible and ineligible. And I believe 70% they will find ineligible. And then the same police, same BMC, same SRA and same politicians will say, you are ineligible, I have to remove you from here. And they will be thrown out from there for the SRA scheme. So those 1,000 people have been used, 700 have been given a kick officially so that they can develop these towers here. The 300 who are eligible are given their houses and the rest of the land which is now free has become into one luxurious tower. It's happening throughout the city. So those 700 people who got kicked out, where do they go? They, government themselves will put them into some new SRA. They will form some slum somewhere else. And if you go into the history of...
But tell me, is this wrong that if you're encroaching on land, why should all 1,000 be rehabilitated?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying if 700 were wrong, you remove them before you start the scheme. Then those 300 can't form the scheme, SRA can't form, and this SRA project won't go through. That is what is wrong.
You're saying the government is tactfully using those 1,000 to get the scheme on the ground, and after that removing them.
Yes.
Removing half.
Benefits out of that slum in the name of benefiting the slum dweller. The slum dweller, what does he get out of it?
A free home.
He gets an opportunity to sell his home and encash it so he can go back to a slum. You will find very few slum dwellers living in those buildings. The entire thing is, I am making money, you also take a share of it. You also take a small piece of the pie, but cake is with me, crumbs are with you, and it's happening throughout the city. You see, Mumbai's best, most fancy buildings are SRA projects. Most premium buildings in Mumbai are SRA projects. Couple of reasons, because SRA is one of those where you get large land banks which are not available in Mumbai. But at the end of the day, it is well feeding the entire system. The money you make out of an SRA is so big, and to make that money you have to feed everybody in the system big money. So it is very lucrative, but you see history of builders, few builders do SRAs. They may do it well, but eventually it catches up with them. People who are doing big shots in SRA 20 years ago don't exist today. The poison of the system has consumed them.
Because one of the things about the slum redevelopment scheme is that the day you stop feeding it, it is game over. So either you are willing to ride the tiger till the finish line, or if you stop, you have to be prepared that all the years of work you have done have gone.
Yeah, so it's like a treadmill. I mean, you can't stop.
But tell me, do you think, in your view, is it fair that free homes are given to slum dwellers who encroach on land illegally?
I don't think it's fair. But government must have affordable housing for the poor. That is not done. That is the bigger unfair. Where does a poor person go? What is MADA? MADA is for making place for poor people. What does MADA do? Do they do that?
This is a constant dilemma I have in my mind while, like you say, affordable housing needs to be created. Is it fair for a middle class home buyer where, because affordability is low and Mumbai is so expensive, homes keep getting smaller for him, the buyer, but he's subsidizing a slum dweller for whom home sizes are increasing every election cycle? There are now cases in Mumbai where in the same slum redevelopment project, the home given to the slum dweller is bigger than the home size that is offered to a buyer.
I don't really have a view on that. That's a matter of size of house. But let's put it this way. If I can't buy a house in Mumbai, I will buy a house in Dahisar, Vasai, Vashi, somewhere out in the suburbs. But slum dwellers are the one who run our houses. If you take an entire slum and you send them to Mira Road, my house won't run because I will not have my driver. I will not have my cleaner. They are not going to come from there. So actually, you go to anybody's house and ask who runs their house. It is people who live in the slums. And those people are not movable to another area.
But should that entitle them to a free home?
No. But at the end of the day, they also need a place to stay. So I ask a simple question. A story is created that slums are the most dirty place in Mumbai. That is untrue. Go to a slum, you will find it clean, you will find it nice, you will find a vibrant livelihood. People are living there with ACs, TVs, everything. Okay, the passages are narrow, but I will show you, go to Chembur and see those PAP buildings made by the government, nobody will live there. Such horrible buildings there. The slum is better.
One is a horizontal slum, one is a vertical slum, right?
That's unlivable. Slum is livable. The story that is fed to all of us that slums are some dirty, disgusting place is not true. So I'm saying, why let them live now? They're comfortable. Why do you want to rehabilitate them? You want to rehabilitate them because you want to make money out of it.
But isn't it true that most slum dwellers themselves crave for a better standard of living? They want to be in a setup which is at least more aspirational. Many times, whenever I visit a slum and I talk to people, their reason for removing this, going out of a slum is their kids struggle to get married. Because it's a status thing that, you know, एक झोपड़े में रह रहा है.
Could be, but most of them want an SRA because they make money out of it. Because they get a flat is worth lucrative, it can be rented, it can be sold. Everybody is looking on how to encash it. Yes, some people will benefit out of it. But have you gone into a slum where they say, oh, we are unhappy? They are all living there happily. Okay, I will go and live somewhere else. But do they go and live there? You go to an SRA rehab, it is not being used by those slum dwellers. So, they may say something, but it's not happening in reality.
You know, one developer told me a very interesting story with one slum redevelopment project that got delivered last year, okay, where he completed the project so much before time and he was going to give the slum dweller his free home, and the slum dweller himself was very disappointed
because he stopped getting his monthly rent.
Because the rent that he was getting per month was a handsome amount, and now he's getting the building. But he said then, before it's being handed over, already the process of selling that unit unofficially had begun. So slum redevelopment in a way is not really reducing the slum population.
Exactly. SRA is going on since how many years now? 30 years maybe. But have the slums reduced or have they increased? Why have they increased? Because somebody finds it lucrative. Just ask the government, link Aadhaar to SRA. Nobody will do it. Because the moment you link every slum dweller to a Aadhaar, you will find out that one person has how many houses, and if you go backward, say that let's link all the past 10 years of SRAs. Nobody, they will refuse. They know it is a scam. I was living in one slum, I got a house. After 5 years, again I got a second house. After 10 years, again I got a second house. How it can be possible?
Okay, this is away from SRA. Now within SRA, the giant slum redevelopment project is Dharavi. Okay, 550 acres is the size of the slum. It seemed that things were going according to plan for once in Dharavi because it's had so many ups and downs that this one seemed like it was doable until the government decided to give a lot of land outside Dharavi to rehabilitate many of the slum dwellers of Dharavi outside.
Ineligible ones.
Ineligible.
Patra, apatra, exactly what I've been saying. The entire scam is on this.
So Mulund, Kanjurmarg, Kurla, Bhandop, etc. Do you have a view on Dharavi?
Whether it's Dharavi or it's XYZ, the issue is the same. अभी धारावी में समझो 500 एकड़ का धारावी का जगह है. वो 500 एकड़ में समझो एक फिगर दे रहा हूँ, समझो 10 लाख लोग रह रहे हैं. ये 10 लाख लोग का रिहेबिलिटेशन का प्रोजेक्ट नहीं है. ये रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट है और उसका फोकस है कि ये लोग को धारावी से कैसा निकालने का वो प्रोजेक्ट है. उनको निकालेगा तो ये हमारा रियल एस्टेट का प्रोजेक्ट इधर सेल होएगा. पूरा जो फोकस है हाउ टू मेक धारावी इनटू ए फैंसी रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट बाय रिमूविंग द स्लम dwellers who are living there in the name of rehabilitating them. अगर रिहेबिलिटेशन जेन्युइन था तो दे विल रिहेबिलिटेट इन धारावी ओनली. उसको बाहर निकालने का क्या जरूरत है? अपात्र लोग को मुलुंड में क्यों रिहेबिलिटेट करने का? इधर जगह कम है, जगह है 500 एकड़ है, लेकिन वो 500 एकड़ में हमारा ऑलरेडी प्लान है उधर फ्री सेल का बिल्डिंग बनेगा. और धारावी इज इन अ वेरी अच्छा लोकेशन है. बीकेसी टचिंग है, दादर टचिंग है, शिवाजी पार्क टचिंग है, माहिम, इट इज वो मुंबई का हार्ट है. जो इधर का जो रियल एस्टेट डेवलपमेंट होएगा अच्छा से, तो वो जगह में हम लोग स्लम ड्वेलर क्यों रखेंगे? इन नेम ऑफ रिहेबिलिटेटिंग स्लम ड्वेलर्स, बाय शोइंग लॉलीपॉप के ये लोग को वी आर कंसर्न फॉर दिस पीपल, वो उसको कुछ फर्क नहीं है.
Right now, just when somebody looks at the entire scenario for a place like Dharavi, okay, according to last data that I saw of SRA, about 8,000 acres of land is encroached by slums in Mumbai, habitable land. Looking at the incentive structure, क्या ये the land that is encroached, will it increase or reduce in the next 15 years?
It will always increase because the incentive is to encroach it. Today, if I get 200 people and I go and encroach a public space, who will stop me? Everybody will say, welcome, come here, because everybody is fed. And this story is in front of everybody's eyes. Slums are coming up, na? The story, how can you remove the poor slum dweller? But this is a mafia which is creating this, na? Some poor slum dweller means I'm with. I understand that they should not be thing, but it is being done only for encashment. That is wrong.
So it's a long-term project. You start with the encroachment, then after that regularize the slum, then make sure that the redevelopment happens. And earlier the rule that used to be there till 10 years you can't sell it, that's also being liberalized where you can
What
sell
difference?
it all.
कोई follow करता था rule? 10-year का rule anybody has followed? Anybody has ever enforced it? What is the all rules, all laws are made only to trouble people when they want, not to follow it. So Vishal, SRA, we all know SRA slums, but there are SRA projects where there are no slums also. The most premium buildings in Bandra at Pali Hill, Bandstand are being redeveloped as slums, as slum projects. Elite of Mumbai live. They have gone and voluntarily said, we live in a slum. We want to be a slum project, because SRA is very lucrative. By calling their project or developing it under an SRA scam, they get a different level of FSI. Every square inch in Bandra is worth so much money, so that much FSI is worth. The most elite guy will be willing to say that I live in a SRA project.
Because I think the scheme you're referring to is the 3311 one, right? Which is, I think there are a lot of people, I hope they're watchful when they go for redevelopment as well as the buyers there, because I'm pretty certain over there this scheme will unravel, where for people who get their OC, it's linked to providing free homes to the government. So if you don't provide that, this will get stuck. Even if the building is ready, you can't move in.
First, I'm not so sure how many people know how this scheme works. So I take a existing residential society without a single slum, a proper normal building is redeveloped as a slum on the condition that we will build homes for slum dwellers in some other part of Mumbai and give that free to the government so that they can rehabilitate slum dwellers there, and we will get the FSI here. Today or over the years, there was a scheme, same thing, sorry, but build public parking and get extra FSI. So buildings started making extra parking floors, got extra FSI, but they will not allow public to park inside. There's a very famous building at Breach Candy which has a public library in his home. You have entire buildings where facilities are given for the public and no public is allowed into those facilities. So here 3311 is a scheme that we will make extra flats so that some slum dweller will get a house somewhere else. But will that slum dweller ever get it? How will you check it? Supposing I make 100 homes and give 10 different names, sell that same home to 10 different developers, who will check it? How will you check?
So in 3311, the mandate is you have to give it to the government. Then the government can do what it wants with that. Then if there's a leakage from the government end.
But today in Mumbai, in development, in the real estate development, BMC is very clear. You do whatever you want. You pay me a premium. You want to take over the compulsory open space, give me premium. You don't want to have this, follow this rule, pay me a premium. There's a proper, it's an official rate card, official, what used to be bribery before. Some genius in BMC decided to change this and said, why the hell should the officers make money? Let the government also make money. And they made an official rate card and they call it premiums. And BMC today is flush with money because of these premiums. So every building does it. No mad person you will find builder who will not follow that.
So amongst the premiums, just for one interesting premium I find is the open space deficiency premium.
Yes.
Where because the rules are structured in such a way where every developer has to give some degree of amount under that category.
I have always asked this question. Okay, I have a plot of land. I am supposed to keep 15% open space. I have not kept it. I paid BMC the premium. But BMC should use that money and buy some open space somewhere else, na? Because they are getting ready reckoner value for that 15%. It's not that it's all linked to ready reckoner rates. So you received money. Okay, you can't make open space here. Make open space somewhere else. Use your money and acquire it. Do that. Make the city better, na? You can't take the money in your kitty and say, chalo, we will dig every road and relay it every year because we have so much money we don't know what to do. So let's keep spending it.
So regarding this thing of open spaces that you mentioned, that open space deficiency, which actually should in a way be used for creating open spaces. Mumbai has the lowest open space, least number of open spaces in the world on a per capita basis. It doesn't seem that the number is going to rise. Okay. The only way they tried to raise it was by changing the definition of open spaces. Now we have 2-3 big examples that open spaces may no longer remain open spaces. Mahalaxmi Racecourse. A few days back you did something on a plot in Malabar Hill that was being, a garden plot that was being auctioned away. What do you think is the motive behind something like Mahalaxmi Racecourse? This is something I've been viscerally opposed to myself. I stay close by to that place, I visit it frequently. So I find the arguments more or less pretty bogus.
The Mahalaxmi Racecourse issue came out, I think, December 23, when there was a meeting between the CM and a builder and the turf club. The racecourse people, they had a meeting and they decided on some way to renew the lease. The lease was not being renewed, so they agreed to renew it. And the government came out with a story that original racecourse was 200 acres. We are renewing the lease for 100 acres and the rest 100 acres we are taking back and we are going to make it into public open spaces for Mumbai. So I was like, but those 100 acres already public open space. Anybody can walk in anytime, though it is under custody of racecourse, but it is public.
I go there.
It's public open space. Nobody stops you from going there. You don't have to pay any money, no nothing. So what public open space are they making out of public open space? And a lot of talk went into that they are going to make it into an amusement park. There's going to be a giant wheel. They're going to cement it. Then the issue is how will the giant wheel, then how will you see the races? So they said we will do it underground. All sorts of stories came up, which I said these are very odd stories going on. Something is not right. And as I mentioned, time reveals everything. Within few months itself, it came out that actually the government is not going to do anything to the open space. The open space is protected. They may make it into a park, they may do something, etc. But that is not their intention. The scam is that they are now giving the racecourse, that is a turf club, RWITC, Royal Western India Turf Club. They are giving them permission to redevelop their land. But this plot of land is one of those rare lands in Mumbai which under the BMC Act, it says that this should be permanently open space. So, how can you allow something there? So, the purpose of this entire deal was always to make the turf club into like gymkhanas or clubs, etc. I don't blame them for wanting to do it, and I can see merit. I can understand their point of view, but I am looking at it from that point of view, boss. This is Mumbai's public open space, so you should not be doing it here.
Okay. Away from that now, the other part that is getting gobbled up are these imaginary garden plots that remain in the imagination only. What do you think is happening there? It's just is it just that simple? जो खाली जमीन दिखा या जो plot मुझे दिखा, which is meant for public, give it in private hands and make money. Is that the simple thing?
I think the suburbs have so many plots, BMC plots, RG plots, all which are handed over to mostly politicians who have misused it. See, there are some politicians who actually look after the green places, and most of them who misuse it. You find a balance in both of them. Why? Let's go back to Aarey. Let me tell you, Chief Minister Fadnavis has come on record and said Aarey is the private property of the government.
Private property of government.
Aarey, private property means. So this is the thought process. I am in power, so this land is my land. I am the ruling party, I will rule. They don't realize that they are the serving party, who should be serving for the needs of the people, not ruling over them. This is the basic flaw in us as people also. We also accept it. And the ruler will rule what he wants. He wants to encroach upon something. In Bandra, an entire playground has been handed over to some huge playground has been handed over to some private person, and residents want to enter, they have to pay 500 rupees to enter their own garden.
Okay.
So, every area in Mumbai has the same problem. Where all to fight, who all to... It's not possible. Good governance has to come from inside.
Fair point. Okay. Now, away from this to the last subject. Roads. Why are Mumbai's roads such a disaster? You know, whenever I'm with you on a podcast and some young person asks me, will Mumbai's roads ever become like Singapore? I tell them, wo kabhi nahi hoga. Do you share that same pessimism that I have?
Mumbai's roads are made of gold. It is highly lucrative. Whatever they do it so that they can make money. Mumbai has a problem. We have too much money. So much BMC sitting on so much money. They don't know what to do with it. So how will they make money if they spend? So if I take a road and there is one pothole, to repair that pothole means if I am the officer in charge, I have to get out of my office, go catch one guy, fix it, repair it, and it will cost some peanuts and I will make peanuts. Why the hell I should do it? Let me sit in my office and make a tender for redeveloping the full road. I have been following road tenders for maybe last 5 years. 5 years ago, every year they used to give out tenders for 1,000 crores. Then it became 2,000 crores, then 4,000 crores, 5,000 crores, 10,000. Every year, the amount of money spent on the roads are increasing. The same road is being done again and again and only getting worse. And they say cement road is the solution. Cement roads are the worst roads in Mumbai. Cement roads. You can't drive on them. They're already and suddenly one fellow will dig one hole, then he will make a patch there. If my building water line gets stuck, I'm like, oh, cement road, I will not fix your... but I need water. You have to dig it up. So, this idea of cementing every inch of Mumbai is only because cement roads cost 10 more than a normal road. So, therefore, they want to spend that money. Because everything that is spent is shared. Nobody's intention is to make a road proper. In fact, if they make the road proper, they will not earn. Next person won't earn. So, they are always very helpful to the next guy who will come on their seat.
It's an annuity business model. Na? Har saal kuch na kuch aayega phir.
It's ridiculous. I mean, okay, you whatever you do, you will make out of it. But do your work properly, na?
So is it an issue of monsoon? Like
No.
several people say that number of cars that are there in Bombay, the amount of rain Mumbai gets, because of which roads stumble.
Have you seen a single pothole on the Bandra sea link? No. It is an asphalt surface. Have you seen a single pothole on Marine Drive? No. Have you seen a single pothole at Flora Fountain outside the Bombay High Court? No. It doesn't rain there. Same rain falls everywhere. A lot of people in Mumbai would have driven over Mahim Causeway. It's a paver block road. From 30 years it is going on. Without a single bump, nothing. So the issue is not what road surface you use. The issue is how, with what good intention you lay it. If your base is faulty, your surface will be faulty. And it has nothing to do with the rains. People will give stories how the slope is wrong and water accumulates and all sorts of
because you know, whenever I basically hear these arguments, "Arey, bahut barish hota hai," and all, I said, or then there's too many cars. That is okay. Let's assume you're right. But how does a newly built bridge in 5 days start having potholes?
Gokhale Bridge, famous bridge in Mumbai. I think world famous because of misalignment.
World infamous now.
It has been open since 9 months. There is not a single pothole on it. Forget all the wrongs about it. The surface is good. How? If you can do good surface on Gokhale Bridge, why can't you do somewhere else?
So Gokhale Bridge might have been an engineering marvel in some way, then at least.
Yeah, it lasted a monsoon without it.
Because just when they opened it, they called it engineering marvel, but it was not a complete one.
It's not that they don't know how to make a road, but they know how to make money better. That is the problem.
Okay, Zoru, last question. What is it that makes Zoru tick? Why do you do this? Are you like the angry young man of Mumbai? Zoru?
I think it's a madness, but I have this. Anywhere I go, things just pop into my eyes. I'm like, what have they done? It just sticks out, and 1,000 people will pass it and they will not notice it. It can get very stressful and it can be a curse at times. But it's something like that, and this is the problem with us in Mumbai. We are all busy in our lives. We have no time to look out to see what's happening, and even if we see it, like, what can we do about it? So people's frustration levels are so, or their own ideas of how they are unable to do anything. But that's not true. If enough amount of people speak about simple things which are wrong, like, sorry, I may be going off tangent, but 30 lakh people in Mumbai, 25-30% population of Mumbai travel by BST buses. And nobody does anything for the BST bus. They will make roads for 20,000 people to drive on, but they will not make a bus for 30 lakh people to use. It's illogical, but those 30 lakh people who are sitting in the bus are all quiet about it. They are not speaking up about it. You go in the train, there's no place. Sorry, I have to. Let me give you an example. I am standing at Andheri station at 7 o'clock in the evening trying to go home to Virar. I will get a train every 10 minutes to Virar, but I will get a train to Churchgate every 3 minutes. But who goes to Churchgate? But those lakhs of people who are sitting every day in that problem, they are not speaking up about it. They are just accepting it. And this is the problem with our city. We accept wrong and hope that somebody else will solve it. I don't know how to solve it, but at least if we point out, the first step in solving a problem is admitting you have a problem. Identifying a problem and admitting there's a problem. If you don't admit there's a problem, how will you solve it? We live in a city which was Bombay, now Mumbai. I think it's time to change our city to Scambay because that's where we are. Everything about our city is a scam.
Which is the worst managed locality according to you in Mumbai?
Tough competition.
Because I basically thought of this question the moment you spoke, you mentioned Andheri. And for me, when I look at Andheri property rates and I see the potential that the location has, but the way it gets treated, I don't think any other location is as much of a disaster when I compare its property price to its governance.
Maybe you look at it from the property price, this thing, but I think Mumbai is equally bad everywhere, and you will find good pockets also. It's not that it's not.
Which one's the worst pocket according to you? The worst pocket.
But I don't have experience of entire city. Mumbai is 24 wards, so I don't have.
From the locations you are aware of?
I think Bandra is the worst managed. It was one time a beautiful place. You go on a Saturday, Sunday, you are in a permanent gridlock. Roads are terrible, footpaths are terrible, but it is being improved every year for last so many years. That level of yearly improvement I have not seen in Andheri. What is bad remains bad, but it doesn't get worsened in the name of improvement. Bandra is being worsened with every improvement. This is how I see it.
By worsened with every improvement, you mean because the type of development that gets done, the infrastructure strain that comes with it?
I'm talking about roads or public places. It is getting worse and worse. It is not getting better and better.
Okay.
Which you don't see so much. See, Andheri, you might be talking of like Lokhandwala, etc., which is a pocket. But Andheri, entire Andheri is not happening like that.
Of course. Means Andheri also has some beautiful spots.
Yes, of course.
It of course has some really disastrous spots as well. Listening to all your responses, does Zoru vote, or then he's so disillusioned with governance that he says vote karne ka fayda nahi hai?
Yes, of course I vote. But whoever comes, I am somebody who raises a lot of issues. So whoever is on the other side, we have to deal with them. And by saying that I like you or dislike you doesn't solve any issues. We have to only deal with the issue, not with the person. And I have also seen it that even person who we like or we think that they will do something, they don't deliver. So what is the point? And I have also seen the way they work. We all think that politicians are magicians. Why he is not able to solve this? Why he's MP, he's MLA, he's corporator, and he can't do. They are as frustrated as we are. They are as helpless as we are. The system doesn't listen to them also. They can make little hole, bull, show, sha. That again, it's that illusion that we have that these politicians can solve things. The system is so complex that they also cannot do work they also want to do.
Who is Zoru's favorite politician?
The one I like to abuse the most. I have a long list.
Abuse, I'm sure. But who are you most fond of? Who you have dealt with?
I don't like politicians. Do
you have any politician friends?
I have. No, I don't have any politician friends, but I have made friends with a lot of politicians over my interactions with them. Politicians are like you and me, they are normal people. But my favorite politician is the one who is in opposition because he is always a good person.
Well put. Thank you, Zoru, for coming on The Real Deal. You've fought on several issues. Keep up the fight going.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishal. Thank you very much.